Hello, I want to do a part two to the tutorial for transitioning in and out of cinematics from game. The last one I did, it kind of ended here where we get a ugly little pop there at the start, fair bit of jittering, and then I don't know if you can get it with the frame rate, but there's a little T-pose there. So we can fix these in the actual sequencer. And what it is, it's switching between sort of animation blueprint and custom mode. We can't really do that. We need to sort of figure out what we want to do in our sequence. If it was something sort of simpler, we just leave it in the animal blueprint. But if you have something where you need to disable the foot IK or anything else in the animal blueprint, you probably want to have it set as custom mode. The thing is, we are going to have, and then right at the end, the last frame, we'll switch it back to the animal blueprint. The thing is, if it's custom mode, you need to make sure that your beginning and end pose line up. So because we're going to be coming from the core idle, what we'll do here is we'll just add an animation for the base idle. We'll just turn it back here. Oh yeah, and I also want to switch these not to keep stable when they're finished. We'll just leave them in their default setting. I'm also going to get rid of that blend there, because we're going to replace that with the idle. And other thing I'm going to do is I'll just split. Oh, I need to wait on it before I can split it. Edit, yeah, split section. Just move this over here. Okay, so there. So where are we? Yes, now he'll be in the idle 100%, and then when we're blended to this, so let's say at this point you'll be 1, you'll be 0, and at this point you'll be 0 and you'll be 1. And likewise here, way down here, the idle will be 1, the gun idle will be 1, and the standing idle will be 0. And then move down a bit. You stitch this into your actual animation in Motion Builder, wherever you're doing it. And just pasting it in here for the moment and use foot locking or whatever. Okay. So now we're also going to want to make sure that back. We're also going to want to make sure that you can see here that he's above the ground. So let's just go to his transform down here. And 80 feels better. Okay, there. Alright, let's just see how that looks and feels now. Alright, we're still getting it popping, so we lost control there because we also have to keep this here. Now we're, so I can blend back into game. Now we're also, so we're using custom mode so the foot IK won't work, but why he's getting caught here is his collision is getting caught on it of the capsule. So if we come down to, where are you? Right down. Here we go. And let's one. Yeah, please hold the same one. Let's type in. Hang on. Quick, collision presets. Yes, so at the moment we toggle this icon again, we'll have access to it in here. So when we're at the end, we're going to want the collision on, but at the start we're going to want no collision, and that should mean that it's just playing 100% of the animation. So if you've got very heavy duty cinematics, you don't want anything interrupting with them, you just want them to be playing 100% out. Let's see. Yeah, now it's smoother. Okay, so that's kind of sorted out that. There's still a bit of a pop lining up at the end there. The other thing I want to look at is if I come in from the side there, you can see there's quite an ugly kind of snap to it. So we got our transition out, but a collision volume like this is fine if you can have a doorway or you've got your character interacting with something. But if you have something that's bigger, say you have your characters, coming in from any direction, and they have to like pick up a character, another guy off the ground and interrogate him or something like that. You're going to, so this is the collision trigger volume we're using to kick off the thing. So if I wanted to interrogate the person and I came in from over here, like that's quite jarring because I've just moved to like a few feet over from the corner. So a way around that, which is kind of I think what they've done with the exit lining it up. So if we go into our blueprint again, so at the moment, remember the character lines up with this, so that's his end position. Actually, I don't want to look at you, I want to look at here. So we know that at the end, the character is lined up with that. So we need to do something similar for the start here, where if the character sort of enters this volume, that he will line up with this starting position. So to do that, what we can do is add a target point. Okay, so I'm going to use this as like my starting point to get lined up here, and then I guess I would have another one over here for my endpoint. So let me just click on this, copy his location, and paste it in here, and he's also got a -90 on him, so we'll just put -90 in here because we'll do the rotation as well. Okay. So, let me just hit save all in case it crashes. Right, so now we're going to just write a little bit to, we're going to need to add, over here, we need to add to this view over here. Alright, so first of all, I've got my target point, and again I can just go to my outliner, just click on that, drag it in here, and it's the root component is where it's going to pull from. So let's get the root component, and from that we're going to get its world location, and we're also going to get its I can spell rotation. Okay, and we're going to use these to set the actor's location and rotation. So eventually we're going to have both of these plugged in. this is going to clock in here, and this is going to clock in there. And the target is going to be the third person character, so we'll plug you in there. And there's a little bit more we need to do. What I'm going to do is I'll just stick a little delay here, just like that, 1 second, and just so we can test if that's actually going to pick that up. Okay, so now, yeah, we can see there, it did it, took him to the point, and then it played the cinematic. So I cross into it, but it snapped him immediately to it, which I don't want. So, to smooth this out a bit, we're going to, what are we going to do? We're going to get, what we need to do is, right, we've got this location, but we need to figure out where the character is in this volume and have them translate and rotate to that point over time. So first of all, let's get we cast the characters, we know where he is in the game, so let's get actor location. And let's get actors rotation. Okay. Now, right, so we've got his rotation, we've got where we want him to be. Now we're going to use a lerp. So I drag off the location, type in lerp, and so here we have lerp vector. Okay, so linearly interpolates between A and B on the alpha channel. So it's going to be 100% at the A position when the alpha is 0 and 100% on the B position when alpha is 1. Okay, so it's going to be 100% where the player is when alpha is 0, and then when alpha is 1, it'll be 100% here. So that's vector done. Or the location now, lerp rotator. Same again. Okay, let's just disconnect those for the moment. Alright. So now what we need to do is figure a way how to go from here to here over a period of time, because we don't want it to snap. So to do that, we're going to add a timeline. Add a timeline component. No, not a timeline component. Timeline. Add a timeline. This is the one we want. Okay. So we'll call this timeline alpha. Okay. Now, okay, that's cool. So if we double click on our timeline, we can add a track and we can add a float track, which will set over a period of time going from 0 to 1. So let's call this time alpha, whatever you want. Okay, and we're going, at the moment it's set to 5 seconds long. Let's just make it 2 seconds long. And if we right click in here, we can add a key here, add another key here. Okay, so this, we at time 0, it's going to be 0, and then in time 2, it's going to be 1. Right, just drag over, click, select both of these. I'm just going to right click and change that to auto, so it eases in and eases out. Okay, and go back to the event graph, and now you can see my timeline. disconnect that, and I'm going to plug you in here, plug you here, and you will be the alpha. So when it's A, it'll be 0, and then 2 seconds later, it'll drift it up into B, and B. Okay, cool. And then these will plug in here. Right. Okay, let's see what happens. File, save. Play. Okay, so I come in over here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. And the last thing you wanted to actually, hang on, we also want to add, because it's going to be a cinematic, and you don't want it happening every time you went through that, so we'll just do once, so that your cinematic just trays off once and then it plays. So we tell it to play one, cast the player, get his position, where he is in the volume to where he needs to get to, and over 2 seconds sets that location, and then we go into our cinematic. The last thing we might want to do is, if I'm in here, I'm still able to input, so let's mix it up. So we also want to add disable input. And actually we don't want to do it there. We actually want to do it here because it has to come. It's disabling the player's control. And then once the cinematic's finished, enable the input again. Again, that needs to come from our blueprint. Oh, back there. Okay, that's safe. So now, interrupt it. It's weird sharing there. What the hell happened there? Play. Sweet teleport play. Da, 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 da. Seems to be working. Oh yeah, I disabled it, it only happens the first time around. Okay. Yeah. And the next thing I probably want to do, which I'm not going to do now, is I could go into removing the camera sort of out of here, separate it and have an additional cinematic kickoff just with the camera. So as I'm transitioning in, probably just have a camera with the looking up shot so you don't see that transition moving over. We could also have a montage to play, or walking or whatever to get to that point. But with a bit of smoke and mirrors, yeah, you can get your cinematic transitioning from game, from any sort of point, lining up, playing playing your cinematic, and then giving back player control at the end. Cool. I'll wrap that one up there. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.